The Tinder swindler was able to get away with this because a lot of these women were like posting this lifestyle, and they're all like telling their friends, yeah, my man flew me on a jet, it's nice, and you know, we're gonna live this life, we're gonna have some babies, I'm so in love with him. You're in love with the thought of him. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about how you are meeting Tinder swindlers every day. Let me explain. Look, chasing the hypergamous life, I talked about it on my channel. I think it has taken a life of its own, and let me explain, because this video is going to break down some things, okay? Let's just start with hypergamous and what I thought it was. It's dating up, leveling up, looking for a better lifestyle, someone who is substantially a high value. I hate using that word because it's just being so misused at this point. Someone who is believing in a hypergamous lifestyle of luxury, or someone who can live a better life than what they are living, and whatever that looks like, you know. So when I first looked at hypergamous, I'm like, yes, of course, like I want to work less, I want to be at home taking care of the kids, like, you know, I don't want to have to work, I want to work because I want to work, like I don't want to struggle. I think that that was like a thing for me, especially as a Black woman. It's like hypergamous wasn't a thing for us, it wasn't given to us as in like this is something we deserve. This, we were taught to, you know, struggle and ride it out because, you know, just historic reasons within our community of why it is like that. So I started to dive into it, and then I trickled down into the femininity movement, which a lot for me because I am a very outside appearance, very feminine, very how I speak and everything, but I've realized that I had a lot of dominant masculine traits about myself that I need to work on. So I deep dived into that, and I just love that community at first. I still do, but it was like hypergamous and femininity go hand in hand at one point, right? They felt like, you know, for you to thrive as a feminine woman, you have to live a hypergamous lifestyle. And I did not understand that lifestyle. Like, it sounds good having a man take care of everything, pay for everything, you can stay at home with the kids, you can just live a life of luxury, you can drive around the nice car, the nice clothes and everything. But a lot of people really don't know the reality of that world and how lonely it can really be when you are not with the right person for the right reasons. It's like, it is such a luxury to find somebody within the hypergamous lifestyle and genuinely have real love for them, not because of the material things, because you genuinely love that person and you guys genuinely have a great relationship. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but statistically it's not as often. You have to sacrifice a lot, you have to hold a lot in, you cannot be as expressive and expect him to give you the same that he expects from you. He expects you to be there for him, you know, mentally and physically and everything else, because he is taking care of all the bills. Like, I personally know people in my life where I'm like, ooh, like, you know, I have help. I get help. We switch off, night switch with the baby. It's like some women are just doing it by themselves. They do everything by themselves. They're at home by themselves, you know, with the kids and doing all these other things. And I'm like friends with housewives, and it's not all like, yes, they live in a nice house, they drive nice cars, they have everything, but it's the husband, the relationship between them, it looks good on the outside, but then once you start hearing about the inside problems, it's like everyone has problems, but a lot of it has a lot to do with the man being in control and that woman not having a say-so, not having any help, not having, you know, the necessities that she needs. It's all like, no, this is your job, this is what you do, because I take care of the bills, and you, I don't want to hear about it. I need you to stop talking to me about it. Like, not in a rude way, but it's like, I pay the bills. I don't want to hear you complain about anything. That man's job, he can be at home, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's like, I pay all of it, I'm in control of this, blah blah. A lot of women really are not ready for that lifestyle. So that is a hypergamous thing, and how I kind of like a little lost touch with it, because then a lot of women were talking about being with married men and having sugar daddies, and I'm like, ooh, this is hypergamous. This is not for me. This is not for me. It's like sugar baby meets hypergamy, which sugar babies are hypergamous because they do tend to date up, because they are sugar babies. They want to be taken care of. They don't want to do anything. They just want to be sugar babies. That can be mixed up in hypergamous, but hypergamous does not necessarily mean you have to be a sugar baby. Like, it gets a little messy, and it's unfortunate that the sugar baby culture, you know, consumed that. So it's a lot of like misinformation and mindsets and opinions and stuff that are not colliding together. I'll say as much. So how are we meeting Tinder swindlers every day? Well, first of all, let me just say my take on the women. I feel like the desire to have hypergamous, hopefully I'm saying this correctly, a hypergamous lifestyle. I feel like these women saw an opportunity. They were looking forward to the future, no matter how much this looked bad. This man was in blood diamond industries, supposedly. He wasn't, but he was putting off that he was. That sounds very dangerous. That sounds very scary. That sounds like he has people after them. But these women were so taken back and swept off their feet because their knight in shining armor is here, because he's taking you on a flight. He's sending a Rolls Royce to your house. Like, he's doing all these things and going to the Four Seasons Hotel and living just luxury, and you tune everything out because you want to live that life too. You were sold on the lifestyle, not the man per se. You were sold on the lifestyle that he could give you. That was your mistake. Because a lot of women can easily be swept off of. They're like, oh my God, like, I can see my future with this person because we're going to be living really nice. First of all, a man of that caliber that has money like that is not going to be on Tinder. Okay, number two, that's one thing. And number two, if he actually is living a nice life, and he's going to be buying you stuff. He's going to be buying you purses, bags, and all this stuff. I didn't really hear too many of the women saying that he was buying them a whole bunch of stuff. He was just taking them out to eat and going places with them. But buying per se, like, he wasn't as generous. And I feel like that kind of, them being wishful, especially the one woman who was picking out apartments with him and was like, yeah, $15,000 is our budget. Like, nothing kind of like set off alarms to you? No, not at all. And then you were willing to give your life savings or money that you didn't have and take out loans because you thought that this man was going to give you the life that you wished for and looked for, and come to find out it was all a facade. Like, it was fake, it wasn't real. And then you feel bamboozled. But nobody, it's kind of like he got convicted, but he didn't really get a lot of time, because nobody asked you to. He asked you and you did. Even though it was a scam, you did not also have to give him money that you didn't have. If a man was to ask me for money I didn't have, first of all, it depends who you are. Like, they didn't even know him long enough for that. If a man is like asking you to pull out some money you don't have to give it and lose it. Don't give it. I am a firm believer of not giving something that you cannot give to that person. If you can't risk losing that amount of money, do not give it to somebody. I don't let people borrow money. I give money. So if somebody comes to me needing money, if I don't have it for you and I don't want it back, I can't give it to you. Now, if you come to me with some and I have it and I'm gifting it to you, but I'm not going to be like borrow something that I just don't have, because I can't depend on you. And then because something happens and then you don't give me my money on time, it's going to cause a problem between us. So no, don't give nobody money if you cannot gift it. Do not let people borrow money. You gift it to them. And if you can't afford to gift it, you can't afford to let them borrow it. period. And I say all this to say is that we meet Tinder swindlers every day. We meet them every day. We meet them on social media. We may follow them on social media, may talk to them, may know of them. Tinder swindlers every day, as in like celebrities, reality TV show celebrities. A lot of these people are putting on like they got it like that when they don't really got it like that. A lot of people may have flashy cars, living in a penthouse, taking pictures from a penthouse, calling it home, and you're like, oh my God, like they are living a life of just like, yeah. And then you meet that person, you meet that guy, and really he lives in a penthouse, but he lives with like 6 other men. Oh wow. Okay. The cars that he's been taking pictures by and seen driving, those were his homeboys. The belt that the Gucci belt that he's been wearing is like they share, him and his friend share it, and they share clothes and shoes and all type of stuff. So it's just like, it's not what it seemed like. You would have thought that this person was living this lifestyle on his own, when really it was all a facade, right? Because that's what social media is. A lot of these people, like I said, feel pressured. A lot of these men and women feel pressured to live up to a certain standard or come off like they're living like that because of society, because of social media, and the pressure of looking good and looking like you're living life when you're really just sad and depressed, or you really don't have a lot of money. The Tinder swindler was able to get away with this because a lot of these women were like posting this lifestyle, and they're all like telling their friends, yeah, my man flew me on a jet, it's nice, and you know, we're gonna live this life, we're gonna have some babies, I'm so in love with him. You're in love with the thought of him. And ladies, just be careful out here, because you know, I'll tell you a story of my own. When I was, a few years ago, when I was dating and single and stuff, I was swindled by a guy. I wasn't swindled as in he took my money, but I was swindled as in thinking that I wanted to pursue things with him, and that he had all these things, and he took me on some nice dates, and I'm like, oh yeah, like he got it together, he living here. Come to find out, he's not. His life is not together. It was not. He was living in a house with 6 different men. I'm surprised the men didn't share a room. And we are not at the age for roommates, especially not 6 of them. The cars, they weren't his. They were his baby mamas. Look. And I was like, okay, yeah. So just be careful out here to vet and look up and search. And if this guy is making it seem like he's all this and that, it's a Google search away. It is a Google search away. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let's start the discussion below. How do you feel about the hypergamous lifestyle? Are you for it? Are you with it? Did it become something that you kind of feel how I feel, or you still are in it? What are your takes on it? What are your takes on it? And what are your takes on the Tinder swindler? Do you think the women were really victims? Were they real victims or not? And also, have you been swindled yourself? Go ahead and start the discussion below. I am so interested into what these comments gotta say. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Bye.